James is a bright red mixed traffic engine who loves to show off his paintwork to everyone and won't stop talking about it.
Hey, Narrator! I would like to let you know that I don't do that all the time.
Yeah, well, that's what you like to think. Anyway, whenever he's at the sheds with the other engines, he would always blabber about it and won't stop.
Now, wait just a minute there. That's taking things too far. You're making me look like an annoying engine that nobody likes.
Excuse me, but who's telling the story here? Yeah, that's what I thought. Anyway, he would always blabber about his paintwork and tell them how splendid he looks in it. The engines just ignore him and pretend that he isn't there. But Murdoch couldn't take it anymore. He was very annoyed. One day, he puffed up to him and told him how he felt.
You've been going on and on about your paintwork, and it's getting at the point where I can't take it anymore.
Oh, really? What's your point?
Well, isn't there anything else you can talk about? I mean, it's the complete opposite of having some peace and quiet, and it's getting into my nerves.
Oh, brother, you and your peace and quiet. At least I don't have an ugly face.
Why, you little...
Oh, quit that argument, you two. You will make things worse if you keep doing this. Tell you what, why not have a race tomorrow? Then you'll see who's right and can make an agreement depending on who wins.
All right, we'll see who's the best. I bet I can beat him at the docks before he even arrives.
Not if I can get there first.
You know, Edward, they're going to cause some confusion and delay.
I agree. You better get Rocky ready if it does happen.
Gotcha. The next day, James and Murdoch were up and at it and ready to see who can win. They were lined up and had plenty of coal and water to get moving. Edward puffed up next to them, telling them the rules and where to go.
The finish line is at the docks, so you won't stop anywhere else except for coal and water.
He blew his whistle as loud as he could, and the two competitors immediately started with a roar. They were head-to-head with each other, but that didn't last long. There were two bends ahead of them, and they went separate ways when they got there. James was enjoying the time of his life.
I'll make it to the docks before Boss Murdoch gets there.
But then there was trouble. A sharp bend was in front of James. He spotted it and tried to stop, but it was too late.
What? No, 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 no!
Yeah, anyway, let's get to Murdoch. He was speeding along down the line thinking that he's better than James. But what he didn't know was that he was also heading for trouble. Henry was pulling a line of freight cars and was waiting for the signal to turn green. When Murdoch saw it, he tried to put on the brakes, but he was going so fast that he couldn't stop in time.
Whoa! Henry, look out!
Luckily, no one was hurt. But the trucks were all over the place and Murdoch knew that he was going to be in trouble. When Edward brought Rocky to clear up the mess, Miss Topham Hatt came to see the commotion.
What has happened here? This is causing confusion and delay.
Murdoch couldn't speak. He was damaged from the crash he had.
Ma'am, it's my fault. He and James were arguing and I couldn't take it anymore. So I gave them the idea of racing to the docks to see who was right. But now I see they made things even more difficult.
Edward, as much as I appreciate you telling me the truth, I am upset with what just happened. You should have just come to me about that, and I've talked to them. But now they need to go to the steamworks, and who knows how long it'll take for the two of them to be fixed. It's going to cause some trouble around the railway for the engine since they're now going to do their jobs. I hope you three have learned your lesson on this and won't do it again.
Yes, Bab. Sorry, Bab.
After James and Murdoch were back on the tracks, they were immediately sent to the steamworks to get fixed. However, they damaged their boiler so hard that they ended up thinking that they were the famous comedians Abbott and Costello.
On the St. Louis team, we have who's on first, what's on second, I don't know's on third.
That's what I want to find out. I want you to tell me the names of the fellas on the St. Louis team.
I'm telling you, who's on first, what's on second, I don't know's on third.
Do you know the fellas' names?
Yes.
Well, then who's playing first?
Yes.
I mean the fellow's name on first base.
Who?
The fellow playing first base for St. Louis.
Who?
The guy on first base.
Who is on first?
Well, what are you asking me for?
I'm not asking you, I'm telling you, who is on first?
I'm asking you who's on first.
That's the man's name.
That's whose name?
Yes.
Well, go ahead and tell me.
Who?
The guy on first.
Who?
The first baseman.
Who is on first?
Have you got a first baseman on first?
Certainly.
Then who's playing first?
Absolutely.
When you pay off the first baseman every month, who gets the money?
Every dollar of it. And why not? The man's entitled to it.
Who is?
Yes.
So who gets it?
Why should he? Sometimes his wife comes down and collects it.
Whose wife?
Yes. After all, the man earns it.
Who does?
Absolutely.
Well, all I'm trying to find out is what's the guy's name on first base?
No. What is on second base?
I'm not asking you who's on second.
Who's on first?
That's what I'm trying to find out.
Don't change the players.
I'm not changing nobody.
Take it easy.
What's the guy's name on first base?
What's the guy's name on second base?
I'm not asking you who's on second.
Who's on first?
I don't know.
He's on third. We're not talking about him.